I am successful. I look for and find opportunities where others see nothing. I am a lifetime learner. I am solution focused. I see only solutions. I am a solution. I'm the catalyst and my name is Lanre Olusola. And this is your dual go-to space for practical spirit and mind transforming conversations that empower you to overcome all of life's greatest challenges. And together, today, we will transform ourselves. Oh yes, mind, spirit, and soul, so that we can become everything that God has ordained us to be. And our topic today is the power of silence, the secret of clarity, direction, and peace. And let me start off by defining silence. Silence in the context of, the conversation that we're having today, and in the context of how to evolve, progress, and grow. Silence and quietness, they are not just about the absence of noise. When someone says, keep quiet, oftentimes we think it's the absence of noise, especially when we're in nursery school and secondary school. So when they say, shh, quiet, silence, it means we take it as the absence of noise. So in this context, right, silence and quietness are not just about the absence of noise in terms of environmental noise. They are it's all about taking an intentional posture, soul, that is your mind, spirit, yes, that is your superconscious mind, and your body, where you disconnect from everything external. You disconnect from every distraction, right? And you reconnect with your divine inner self. And that connection with your divine inner self gives you a sense of clarity. Clarity about who you are not. Clarity about what you are and what you are not. Clarity about why you are here. Clarity about the solution that you were created to be. Clarity about your passion. Clarity about your mission. Clarity about your calling. Clarity about your vocation. Oh yes, clarity about your expertise. And with that level of clarity, you find harmony and alignment that gives you inner peace, so that you can purposefully pursue the reason why you were created. You can begin to move in the direction of your purpose and your assignment. So silence actually enables us to tune also into God's frequency, to tune into your own spirit. Yes, your own intuition, and release, the power of creativity that lies within you. So noise and, environmental stimuli, right? They affect us. They distract us. They don't allow us to be our best version of ourselves. They don't allow us to tune in deep and find deep insight, wisdom, to address critical issues, to master our emotions, to master our thoughts, to crystallize our purpose, so that we can become everything that God has created us to be. So you see that silence is not just the absence of noise. Silence is a medium. Silence is a vehicle. Silence is a methodology. Silence is a model. Silence is the most critical component that helps us find ourselves, discover our true essence, and become the best version of ourselves. How does one identify the cocoa, that is the voice and the sounds, or the energy of the frequency that really, really matter? Let me go back to, scriptures. I'm going to quote some very powerful scriptures, about 3 very powerful scriptures, that will further help us reinforce this whole concept of silence and quietness. and help us recognize that it's not just the absence of noise. It's a very powerful spiritual principle and a spiritual law that we must apply for us to be everything that we want to be. So I'll quote first Isaiah 30 verse 15. The Bible says that in quietness and in confidence is your strength, which means that your true power and ability, right, to succeed, to thrive is hidden in stillness, is hidden in quietness. And this is where spiritual, mental, and emotional resilience is built. And without it, it's impossible for you to succeed and to thrive. The second scripture is Ecclesiastes 3:7. It says there's a time to be silent and there's a time to speak. So not every moment is for speaking or acting. Silence is a divine strategy for acting in the right timing. But you cannot act at the right time without clarity and without preparation. Number 3, Psalm 46:10. Psalm 46:10 says, "Be still and know that I am God." Be still and know that I am God. Now, it's impossible for you to know God without silence and stillness. It says, be still. Because when you are still, right, when you employ the vehicle of silence and quietness, then you position yourself, right, to begin the journey or to begin, the process of knowing God. It says, be still and know that I am God, which means that you will only know God when you are still. So stillness is the protocol of heaven, is the process of heaven, right? Right? To reveal what God is, who God is, and the presence of God, the sovereignty of God. So when you are quiet to the world and the external things and everything that distracts you, that's when you hear the still small voice. So silence is very, very loud. Now, in essence, silence and quietness are very deliberate, intentional disciplines for powerful living. It's not weakness, it's wisdom. Now, the louder life gets, the more we must embrace silence. The louder the voice of the enemy, the devil, the louder the voice of man, the louder the voice the noise in our environment, right? The more we must embrace silence so that we can tune in spiritually, we can tune in mentally, we can tune in psychologically, right? To hear the voice of our spirit and the voice of the Spirit of God in union and in unity and in oneness. So you don't need to be silent to hear the devil. Oh, the devil is always loud. You don't need to be silent to hear your own problems and your own trauma and your own pain. Oh yeah, you don't need to be silent to hear the noise on social media. You don't need to be silent to tune into the volatility, the unpredictability, the complexity, the ambiguity in the world today. You don't need silence for all of that. All you need to do is just show up, right? You will hear it loud and clear. In the midst of all of that, you must give time and attention to being completely silent, externally and within. And that is when you would hear the voice of God. And a typical example is Elijah. Elijah, there was the winds, there was the earthquake, there was the rumblings, but the voice of God was not in there. The voice of God came as a very still, small voice. It came when Elijah tuned out all the distractions and all the noise around him, and he tuned in within. and he heard the voice of God. Silence is a vehicle. Silence is a medium. Silence is a process, right, that allows you to tune in and to download the right intelligence. Now, you see, the important thing is not just the voice you hear, is what the voice tells you. So it can be the voice of your spirit, it can be the voice of God, right? That when you are in total silence, right, you lean into, you tune into to hear. Now, that voice, some of us call it a knowing. Some of us call it our intuition. Some of us call it word of wisdom, word of knowledge, prophecy, vision, dreams, whatever it is, right? It may not even be an audible voice. It may be a picture that you see. It may be an experience you have. It may be a knowing that you have. It may be an idea. It may be an inspiration, right? So silence in itself is the vehicle, is the medium, is the process that allows you to be able to hear, to see, to tune in, right? To receive, to download intel. You see, it's not about the voice. It's not about the idea. It's about what you should do with the information that you get, with the knowledge that you download. That is what makes you thrive and succeed. So if you make it only about silence, honestly, you will get it wrong. Silence is not the end. Silence is just a means to an end. Let's get that right. Silence is not the end. So you can be as silent as you like. If you do not hear or download, you're in trouble, right? But I'm going to come to that first question. So silence is the medium that helps you download ideas, receive inspiration, get wisdom, understanding and knowledge on what to do and how to do what you need to do. Okay? Remember that I said that silence is not the avoidance of noise. When you are silent, it depends on what you are looking out for. And if you are silent, you are still, you want to know what God is saying, right? And God is saying nothing. Then God is saying plenty things because God speaks in silence. So let's say somebody comes to you and asks you a question, and you look at them and you make that comment and you don't answer them. You have, they know that you have spoken. When we were younger, when we visited, when we went out visiting on Sundays with our parents, especially after church, when we go to people's houses, we used to cook rice only on Sundays. Rice, chicken, fried chicken stew with plantain. Then it used to be Uncle Ben's rice. And then, they will offer you rice, with Coke. So when you go to visitors' houses and they offer you, rice and Fanta or Sprite and Coke, you will look at your mother's face and your mother will not say a word. She will be completely silent. She will just look at you and you know what that look means. If they burn you, say yes. Me, I knew what that silence meant, that I should not eat, but I'll still collect the food. I knew that when I get home, my mom will beat me purple black. But almost it's once a week that I will eat that rice. Once a week. And there was one of our relatives that we used to go to their house. The woman can cook. She can cook chicken, fried chicken stew. Fried chicken stew or more. And I'll look forward to it. You may not drink Coke or Fanta. So when we go there, I will not look at my mother's face. Before they finish asking you, do you want to eat rice? I've answered them so that my mom will not just intercept and I will eat the rice. I will ask for more. And then Coke. It's either I take one Fanta and one Coke, but I will take two. Then I will eat the rice. You understand? And then I will ask for more. But I know that I'm in trouble when I get home. So even though my mom, was silent, I knew that she was talking. So God also speaks in silence. And one of the things that I say to people is, how do you know what God means when God is silent? You may not hear God speaking. So if God is silent in any given situation, always go back to the last instructions that God has given you and check if you have executed, if you have obeyed to the letter. Oftentimes, you have not. Go and obey it and ask God to forgive you. Then you will be reconnected back to Him. Why do people run away from silence? It's because silence can be louder than noise. It's because people are ignorant about what to do with silence. It's because silence can be painful. Silence can be painful. It's because of what people are afraid that they may find when they are silent. It's because people do not really like their own company. People do not really know themselves. People do not really enjoy their own company. So they feel like silence will reveal a dark vacuum within them. Yes. So that's why a lot of people run away from silence. Now, how has silence, how has it helped me? Silence has helped me personally, spiritually. It has helped me emotionally. It has helped me mentally. It has helped me financially along my journey. Honestly, without silence, I will never be the catalyst. Without silence, I will never be creating the solutions that I create on a daily basis. Without silence, I will never be, the people that know me know that I do a lot at the same time. Without silence, I will never be maximizing my potential. Without silence, I will never be releasing power that lies within me. Without silence, I would not have a deep and personal relationship with God. So silence created me. Silence birthed the catalyst. The catalyst was not birthed on what people said or what people did or what other people did. Catalyst was called out of noise. 14 different businesses, busy guy. And on a quiet, silent day at about 5:30 or 6 a.m. in total silence in my room, I heard God speak to me about my future. He says to me, shut down every single thing that you have been doing and go and transform lives by transforming minds. So I was called into a place of silence. I was instructed or I was led, right, to go into my closet and shut down all the noise around me and go into a deep place of reflection for 6 months, where I went into a time of spiritual silence. And that was how I was birthed. That was how I evolved. That's how I've become this guy that I've become. Now it has helped me in all my relationships. It has helped me financially. It has helped me download ideas, strategies. When I am in the midst of many people or many occurrences in a boardroom, in a strategy session, in a training session, I go deep within. I tune in. I take time to be silent, to download strategies. I have worked with banks, top banks across the world. I've worked with top telecoms companies across the world. I've worked with top oil and gas companies around the world. I've worked with top NGOs around the world. I've worked with every industry. And I've helped every industry create the right strategies that have moved their businesses to the next level. I have worked with the top entrepreneurs and top executives in the world. But guess what? I am not an expert in oil and gas, but I am able to, through silence, download strategies in the oil and gas industry. I'm not a banker or in the financial services industry or an investment banker, but through silence, I'm able to download blue ocean strategies for them in every industry. In the last 2.5 decades, I have done excellently well. Why? Because I have mastered. Oh, yes, I have trained myself in the art and in the science of silence. It has deepened me. It has deepened my relationship with myself. It has deepened my relationship with God. Emotionally, it has taught me how not to react to chaos, to triggers, to many things around me. It has taught me to respond with knowledge. Oh, yes, with depth. Oh, yes, with insight. And so over the years, right, I have practiced silence. I have adopted it as a lifestyle. It has become my routine on a daily basis. My routine on a daily basis. Every morning, this morning I walked for about 2.5 hours in silence. I did not have any airport. I did not have in silence. I left home and started walking by the water, and I walked into a park 2.5 hours. Yesterday, I did 3.5 hours of walking, brisk walking in silence, and I went into the woods. I walked by the river, right? In total, when everybody is still sleeping, 5 a.m., 6 a.m., that's when I go out. So early in the morning, right, when I wake up immediately, right, I practice silence, I do my meditation, I do my exercises, I do my visualization, and I go into nature. I connect with nature in silence because nature communicates with me in silence, and I'm able to reflect. I'm able to download. I'm able to receive inspiration for the day. Oh, yeah, for the week, for the month. I'm able, to make precise decisions. Oh, yes, very, very powerful decisions. Before every big decision that I have to make, right, I go into a time of silence. During the day, I'm still, one of my covenants with God is in quietness and in confidence lies my strength. And so anytime you see me, I am calm, I am quiet, I am I'm operating the process of silence 24/7. At the end of the day, that's how I shut down. Also when I'm journaling, and I journal on my phone, I do it in silence. So on a daily basis, it has become my lifestyle. On a weekly basis, my lifestyle. On a yearly basis, is my lifestyle. Silence has helped me improve my relationships, my leadership, and my decision making. I would never have become this guy that I've become without silence, right? Silence teaches me also to listen deeply. So when people are speaking, I'm very silent. So I am able to hear and to listen at different dimensions of what people are saying, whether it's at the environmental dimension, whether it's at the behavioral dimension, whether it's at the capability dimension, whether it's at the belief and values dimension, whether it's at the identity dimension, whether it's at the mission dimension. I'm in silence. I'm able to listen to the language that people are speaking. Are they speaking visual language? Are they speaking auditory tonal language? Are they speaking kinesthetic language? Are they speaking, auditory digital language? So it is in silence that I'm able to pick things. It is in silence that I'm able to pick the energy of people, right? Of the energy of the frequency around me, not just words, right? So as a leader, right, I take time to pause in silence and I observe. I am more of an observer than participator. I can go into a restaurant and sit down alone and be observing people in silence. I can go into a mall and for hours sit down and be observing people in silence. When I go to the park and I walk, I sit down for maybe about 15 minutes and I observe people come and go, especially when it's around 7:30. I just sit down in the park, right, by the water, and I just watch people come and go. And I observe the trees wake up. I observe the leaves wake up. I observe the energy flow into the trees and flow into the environment. And I receive, some of the energy. I hope you know that the trees give us oxygen and we give trees carbon dioxide. So that symbiotic dynamic relationship, I see it happen early in the morning. It's very fresh. When you sit by trees in a park and you receive fresh early morning, excuse my English, fresh early morning oxygen. Oh, it's pure. You know, it it gives you a sense of new lease of life. You feel like your system is being cleansed. Oh, early in the morning, oh my God. And then, when the sun is coming out and begins to release its energy to you, oh my God, vitamin D, light, and oh my God, that relationship and that dynamic is just crazy. If you lock yourself in the house, you go to the gym, honestly, you don't know what you're missing. Because, the world has now become my stage. Nature has now become my platform. And I engage and I interact. I harmonize and synchronize with nature. Nature and I, the universe and I, have become partners. And so, silence is how I cement, is how I consolidate my partnership with the universe and how the universe consolidates its partnership with me. Silence is how I tune into the God that is within me, right? Silence is how I become one with God within me. Silence is how I tune into the frequency of God and I know the mind of God for my own life for the day concerning my assignment. If you allow noise and you allow distraction, it's a costly mistake. It will cost you your relationships. It will cost you, performance, productivity, success. Silence helps you avoid even saying things that you will regret. With silence, you listen more. With silence, you understand more. Silence is emotional intelligence in action. The Bible says that even a foolish man, when he's silent, they think that he's wise. So before getting into any key meeting, practice silence for between 5 to 10 minutes. It will help you sharpen your insights and give you presence. So that when you step into a room, you step into a room with presence. Oh, yes. And then you infect and affect everything that happens in that room. In quietness and in confidence is my strength. I want to invite you today to practice silence, quietness. Honestly, you will thank me if you do it right. When your life is not going in the direction that you want it to go, and the Bible says that many are the plans of the man, but only God's purpose shall be fulfilled. It means that sometimes, in fact, most times, you are going against God's purpose and God's will for your life. You need silence to recalibrate and reposition. And just like GPRS, if you have Google Maps and you plot in your destination and it tells you in the next 100 meters turn right, and you go past that right turn, Google Map will route you, right? It is in a place of silence that you will hear the routing. If you are gisting, with someone in the car, you are listening to loud music or you're allowing yourself to be distracted, you will not hear the instructions of Google Map to reroute. So when you have gone off tangent, you need silence. When things are not working, you need silence. When there's chaos, oh yes, when there's pain, when there's trauma in your life, you need silence. When your relationships are not going right, you need silence. When you are not hearing the voice of God or you are not being led by the Spirit of God, the Bible says that those that are led by the Spirit of God, they are the sons of God. And when you feel disconnected from God, you need silence. When you feel empty, you need silence. When you are disconnected from your essence, you need silence. When you are unsure about life, you need silence. And when you don't know what direction to go, you need silence. When you're at a crossroad, you need silence. So when you are even succeeding and everything seems to be working for you, right? And it's like easy peasy. Come on, you need to pause and check. Hmm. Oh yeah. When you are struggling to make anything happen for you, you need silence. So silence is such a powerful tool in this very noisy world. Honestly, silence is the pause that powers purpose. In this hyper-stimulated world where people are drowning in noise but starving for clarity. So when you lack clarity and direction, you need silence because silence creates space for you to think. It creates space for you to imagine. It creates space for you to feel. It creates space for you to hear God and also hear yourself. Silence is the space where your spirit downloads direction. Oh, yes, redirection as well. And that noise blocks. Without silence, many simply react. Many simply react. They don't live intentionally. They are not the ones that are driving their lives. And so they lack clarity and they've missed direction. So silence helps us gain clarity. It gives us direction in life. Now, silence unclutters our mind. So when you are feeling overwhelmed, as in there's too much in your head, you need silence. You need silence. Imagine water that is mixed with sand. When you shake it, you will see nothing clearly. But when you allow the sand to settle, then you will see the clarity in the water. The sand will separate itself from the water. That is what silence does when our minds are cluttered, when our emotions are everywhere, when our spirits are troubled. It is in this stillness, in this silence, that ideas crystallize, that God speaks, that our intuition sharpens, that ideas drop, that our spirits are inspired. It is how you move from confusion into clarity. Yes, yes, yes. And ladies and gentlemen, when we are talking about silence, we're not talking about solitude. When we are talking about silence, we're not talking about isolation. So you have to be skilled in knowing and identifying silence and knowing how to use silence right. So what's the difference between silence, solitude, and isolation? And how can you use silence right? Isolation disconnects you. Isolation, it disconnects you. Solitude connects you. Silence in solitude is what you need. That is intentionality. That is, you decide that the reason why you are going solo, that you are going on a retreat, is so that you can silence all the distraction and all the noise and you can tune in intentionally and hear and download. Solitude works with silence. Isolation drains your energy. Silence restores your energy. You know, every morning I must go into a time of complete silence. No phone calls. In fact, my phone never rings, so forget about that. So every morning before I get into making major decisions, I allow myself to enjoy, right? I intentionally tune in to silence because, man, all my decisions are made early in the morning. All my ideas flow early in the morning. During the day, I'm just executing all the inspiration, all the ideas, right? All the decisions that I've made. It helps me make the right decisions. It helps me have the right conversations. I know what's already coming during the day. I'm already prepared for it. The wisdom to address every single thing, I've already downloaded it. So solitude, you know, isolation rather is escaping from reality. Solitude is intentionally going into a quiet place so that you can address your issues. So silence in solitude equips you with inner strength. Oh, yes. With the ability to tune into the right frequency like a radio, right? If you tune radio to 99.9 FM, you will get the radio station. If you tune it to 99.92 FM, it will be distorted, you will not hear. So it is in solitude when you intentionally go into silence that you know the right frequency to tune into, because it gives you inner strength, it gives you wisdom. Oh yes, it equips you to be able to face the world. Now, silence brings peace. In the middle of chaos, in the middle of challenges, in the middle of personal crisis. In the middle of all of this, and each and every one of us, we experience it every day. Absolute peace is found inside chaos. Light is found inside darkness. But it is in silence that you can tune in and find it. You cannot find diamonds or precious stones or precious metals without intentional and digging deep. You have to realize that there are treasures in this, your earthen vessel. Oh yes. And you have to be intentional about tuning in. Peace is found inside, not outside. You've got to cultivate, right, that discipline of tuning in to find your inner peace. Oh yes, oh yes. Many years ago when I lost key investments, it was silence that helped me not. I paused, I listened within, and I observed Psalm 46:10. It says, "Be still and know that I am God." And in silence, I remembered that I'm not operating the economy of the world. I'm operating the economy of heaven. And I tracked myself and I tracked what I did. And everything I did was right. And I left it to God. Guess what? I didn't lose in the end, medium to long term. Now, you could have panicked and made a wrong decision then. But guess what? I paused, went into a time of silence, and I left it, right? And the solution came. So it is therefore very sacrosanct. It is therefore very critical for you to go into periodic times of silence in the course of the day, each day, every week, the rest of your life. Now, you cannot run your car 24 hours every day. You have to also switch on the engine of your car, let your car rest. Like your generator also, you cannot be running generator non-stop for a week. That generator will break down. You cannot afford to be running yourself without shutting down. Yeah, it's important for you to shut down and to recalibrate. It's important for you to shut down and tune in. It's important for you to shut down. Oh yeah, and reposition, rejuvenate. Yeah, and reestablish yourself. Silence is golden. I am successful. I look for and find opportunities where others see nothing. I am a lifetime learner. I am solution focused. I see only solutions. I am a solution.